Highland Park, Illinois, a suburb 25 miles north of Chicago where the average household income is $115,000. Out of 21,035 public schools in the United States, Highland Park High School is ranked 7th, a suburb where safety is not a concern and where high school students fill their time up with high school sports, cheer squads, theater, and nationally competing academic teams. It's a seemingly perfect community. Drive 30 minutes south to the Eisenhower Expressway and you enter Heroin Highway. Heroin Highway is the nickname for the Eisenhower Expressway and Interstate 290. The highway is the link for heroin users in the suburbs to suppliers in Chicago. Since heroin arrived in the northern suburbs of Chicago, the impact has been devastating. Between 2008 and 2012, heroin overdoses have increased 200%, and at least 4 people from the northern suburbs of Chicago have died in the past 3 months from a heroin overdose. Addiction is like stage 4 cancer, devastating and deadly.
My name is Joe Murphy. I'm 34 years old. What led to my heroin use was just continuously just wanting to chase the next high.
Right.
And once I started doing heroin, I couldn't stop. Well, the progression of my illness started from overdosing at the age of 14 to being incarcerated at the age of 14, in and out of jail, being asked to just go to 2 classes my senior year just so I can get enough credits to graduate, kicked off of baseball. My consequences continued to pile, and I didn't care.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Mark Filler. I live in Highland Park, and this is a topic that I'm extremely passionate about because I lost my son Jordan at the age of 23 just a few months ago in January of this year. Right now in our country there's 700,000 people that have used heroin, and that number is also up. It's up 80% in the last 7 years. There's a couple reasons that it's so abundant in the Chicago suburbs. First is because Chicago actually is the #1 gateway from Mexico in the country. It's factually showed that per population there's more heroin in Chicago in general than there is in any other city in the country. And then furthermore, really all of the middle class and upper middle class suburbs throughout the country have seen an explosion in the amount of heroin in their towns.
Heroin is the easiest drug to get your hands on if you go to the right places on the west side of Chicago. I'm from a society where my parents make $12 million a year. Okay, I'm from the same thing you guys were. All it is you guys are innocent, you have money, and you have access to your parents' cars. Every time I thought I hit bottom, like when I was 18 and I woke up with them shocking me back to life, I was like, I gotta go get another jab of this dope. Because I thought it was fantastic. It took me 4.5 years in the penitentiary, coming out homeless for almost 10 years now, to realize that in and out of halfway houses and sleeping on friends' couches, I've hit bottom.
Well, I'm Dr. Corey Franklin. I'm retired now, but for 25 years I was the director of the medical intensive care unit at Cook County Hospital in Chicago. I can tell you about all the overdoses I saw. I can tell you about first-time users who died because they took heroin that was too pure. I can tell you about heroin users who died because their heroin was spiked with battery acid. I mean, the number of stories I can tell you, and the young people, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
What I would warn all people, or advise all parents, take this stuff seriously. Heroin and drugs, and particularly heroin, is much more widespread in the suburbs than I would have had no idea. And I've talked to many users who say that the drug can be found on any given day, Monday through Friday, in the kids' high schools.
I mean, the fact that there are epidemics of heroin in our high schools they have to really look at themselves and say, what is wrong and what can we do about this? And they have to have a much higher vigilance and much more stringent programs than they do.
The drug is there. There's people selling it. There's people selling it for roughly $10. There's such a stigma associated with serious drug use and on the extreme heroin that people don't want to talk about it. The schools don't want to admit it's a problem.
Addiction runs in the family because every single person in my family has the addictive nature. I'm the only one in my direct family besides my father who's in recovery. My father's 18 years sober.
It's like cancer. It's like diabetes. And if your kids had diabetes or cancer, you wouldn't be embarrassed. You would talk about it. Well, drugs are the same. We can show you the addict has differences in their brain compared to the non-addict.
I'll tell you one thing. If you drink and bad shit happens, you're an addict. If you get high and you want to keep getting high again, you want to keep chasing that high, you're an addict. If all you think about in your day is how you're going to get the money to get high, you're an addict. If all you can think about after 9 o'clock in the morning is how I'm going to get high again today, you're an addict.
I think it's a very, very complex thing. If you put addictive personality together with access to drugs, together with economic situations, together with social situations, you may have the ingredients for heroin use.
Once you start doing heroin, it's a progressive disease to turn you into a pirate, to turn you into a nothing. If you really want to do heroin and you want to die, go ahead. I suggest you don't.
Here in Highland Park, I feel like we hide drug addiction because we don't want to be associated with that stigma.
But I don't think we do a really good job of raising awareness about it.
I think our school should have some type of assembly or workshop or something, getting our whole school together and learning about what exactly heroin is and the effects of it.
Spreading the word about what the drug is and how it can severely affect our school itself and families and individuals who are abusing it.
I think we should bring more addicts in just to show the struggle and how to overcome it.
We should have an all-school meeting in the auditorium and really just educate people on the effects and what it is.
Is drug use or drug abuse prevalent at Highland Park? If I'm checking that box, I'm absolutely checking that box as yes, to say that it's prevalent and it's a concern, and I don't think we do anybody favors by being naive or pretending that something isn't going on. I would think that the most significant recent issue that's been certainly publicized more than in recent years is the use of heroin. I think our school is responsible for anything and everything that we become aware of, quite honestly. And like many topics in society, schools are becoming much more responsible to fill in some of those gaps because maybe no one else is. And it might be because there is no parent there, but it also might be because the parent is choosing not to. And so when those types of situations become known to us, we really have to step in as the local parent to the legal degree that we can. Not My Kid is an amazing program. I think that there are all kinds of different efforts that happen in many different forms. We've had numerous speakers throughout the different time addressing this topic with parents. So it's an ongoing issue. There's just no doubt about that. It has to be an ongoing presentation or topic, whether that there can't just be one meeting to address the issue, though. It has to be a collection of efforts, and it has to be an ongoing conversation. I think it's also pretty important to work these messages into all of the different efforts that might already be existing. What is the structure? And we don't have the perfect structure because we haven't solved the issue. I think that the significant statement really is to not lose the conversation ever, because of the significant nature of it and because of the fact that it's a life and death type of conversation.
Both teenagers and their parents have to be educated, and that's probably the number one thing that we could do. Is I want to save other families, other children, other parents from suffering the fate that my family and my son suffered. So I've been spending most of my time learning about this, learning about what are the options, what's been tried, what hasn't been tried, who's doing what, so that we can all pool our resources and then say what's going to be most effective to actually have results.
My life's awesome. I mean, every day I get up and thank God for another day to stay sober, and I try to help the young people. If you guys want to die, keep getting high. Because I'm 34 and I'm finally now have a bank account. If you're living the right way, addiction's not going to follow. Okay? Honesty, forthright behavior, and believing in a higher power is the only way for you to ever get help.
Illusions,